The Crypto Markets Update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
Checking in on Bitcoin, the CoinDesk Bitcoin price XGX index currently trading at $61,797. Bitcoin slightly down about 1% over the past 24 hours, and the Ether price ETX index right now at 45.27. ETH also taking a step back slightly, about 0.2%. Meanwhile, DeFi, the new DFX CoinDesk DeFi index right now is also taking a step back about 0.2%, now trading at 655 points. All right, joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Shane Molidor, Head of Business Development at AscendEX, a global crypto trading platform. Hello there, Shane. So we saw that ETH hit an all-time high yesterday afternoon at 4,668. It's on a tear, but also at the same time, the Fed made their announcement that they will be tapering their hundreds of billions of dollars in bond buying purchases. So not much of a reaction from the crypto markets. I wonder what you make of all the news.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I think with regards to the recent updates, I think the perception is that for a lot of these layer one protocols, Ethereum included, that this sort of announcement was anticipated, largely priced in by a lot of the analysts and a lot of the more savvy venture capital and high frequency trading desks that are most active in the space.
Mm-hmm. So looking at ETH, one of the big debates has been, what is driving ETH's price up? Is it just, kind of riding Bitcoin, diversification from Bitcoin, or are there more ETH specific reasons like the NFT boom or meme coins or something else?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I think an argument can be made in either direction, but certainly with the recent boom that we've seen on NFT platforms, that alone driving gas prices and increased usage on the network is certainly enough in order to catalyze some serious growth. I also think that some of the DeFi applications that were built on top of the Ethereum network are actually starting to see additional traction from broad retail communities on a global basis. So again, I think that you can view the Ethereum network as almost the equivalent of sort of a venture capital-esque platform. The success of anything built on top of it certainly catalyzes growth for Ethereum. And we're seeing very similar growth trends for a lot of the layer one protocols in the market, such as Solana and Avalanche, for example.
I'll go into the other argument, which is that, well, if Bitcoin hits an all-time high, the altcoins follow. And so now we're seeing ETH with an all-time high, Solana also reached an all-time high. Are there other coins that you think might follow suit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the general sentiment that you see on things like crypto Twitter is that it's layer one season. We're anticipating when we might hit the top there, yet we continue to see additional breakouts and actually very healthy liquidity conditions and volume across not only cash markets, but also derivatives markets. Or when we'll see some sort of tapering off or even a retracement, but across the board for most layer one protocols, it's a very positive trend that we're seeing.
Also, AscendEX just announcing a $50 million Series B round, a raise backed by Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX. I wonder what do you plan to do with this raise, and what does SBF offer? What does he bring to the table?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, we're incredibly excited about the successful close for the Series B. As you mentioned, $50 million raised. This was a co-led round by Polychain Capital as well as Hack VC. We also had participation, as you mentioned, from Alameda Research, founded by Sam Bankman-Fried, as well as Jump Capital and a handful of other strategic investors. I think in terms of usage of funds, AscendEX has seen exponential growth in the last 12 months. So certainly going to allocate those funds in order to continue to scale our operations and help penetrate some unique geographies. However, I also think what's really excited about the fundraise is the strategic alignment that it grants us with intellectual thought leaders such as Sam Bankman-Fried in the space. I think that if you take the example of Alameda Research, this is certainly not their first rodeo. They've had experience cultivating and incubating some of the most promising blockchain protocols, as well as obviously hands-on experience growing their own centralized exchange. So I think, again, aligning yourself with thought leaders is important.
You mentioned expanding into unique geographies. Which unique geographies are you talking about?
Absolutely. So as a Singapore registered platform, AscendEX has a very, very prominent presence in APAC. I think what we see as the next iteration of our growth is expanding into emerging nations such as Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East, where cryptocurrencies are being perceived as more than just a speculative instrument, but actually a cornerstone of everyday life for standard retail investors. So these are very prominent geographies that we want to penetrate.